Hello and welcome to Peer-to-Peer Trades. I'm your host, Justin, and this is the channel where we focus on the Wyckoff method as well as the alphanumerics indicator for the cryptocurrency market. So we're seeing actually not a bad chart coming out of Litecoin here. So Litecoin is definitely an outlier as far as its technical setup compared to the rest of the cryptocurrency market cap. It could be because it, lost a lot of value early on during the bull or during the bear cycle, and it's had a longer time to go through an accumulation. Whatever the case may be, it's not looking too shabby. So I'm going to break this down from a Wyckoff point of view. We're looking at accumulation schematic number one. Now, Wyckoff events and phases, this is something that, it's not going to fit perfectly. So it is something that you need to be a little bit lenient with. I find the events are very important to make note of. And not so much the pattern. So a lot of people get hung up on the pattern. The pattern is relatively important, but what's much more important is the price behavior in the context of the events. So we're going to kind of go through some of those right now. The first event is a preliminary support, which we formed right here. You can see this preliminary support level over in this area where we tried to hold on, but then we eventually rounded over into this capitulatory movement into our seller's climax. The seller's climax also here on the daily did flash a green diamond. So for those who are hooked up on the alphanumerics indicator, you would have gotten a DCA signal. DCA for the assets that you're convicted on. For me, I'm not convicted on the long term of Litecoin. So, this signal appeared on Bitcoin. I would be purchasing the Bitcoin, but whatever asset that it is that you are accumulating on a dollar cost average basis, that's a good signal for you to accumulate. It also give you a few DCA signals back here as well. So we did get that seller's climax, and then we began to trade sideways. So trading sideways is indicative of accumulation, typically speaking, especially when you have a tightening of the spread and a tightening of the volume. So you can see the volume declined quite a bit. It's not showing a lot of selling. It's not showing a lot of buying. It's just showing quiet accumulation while the price candles are not moving a ton. Now, this can be a little bit confusing for newer players because this trading range is in fact, it's a 34% range. So yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty tight. That's actually pretty tight for an altcoin. But then we had kind of this little sign of strength move. See, this is where the interpretation comes into play. That was met with a big move down that got gobbled up right away. So the demand began to come in. You can see the recovery off of this low here. I'm going to classify that as a spring. You could classify it as an LPS, whatever the case may be. But because it was bought up so quickly and resulted in a real big sign of strength, it's a really positive sign. Sign of strength breaks the range, breaks the level of the preliminary support, and we have our first higher high. This is really, really important. So, we're breaking the trend. We have lower high, higher lows, and now we have higher highs. That came into a backup phase here. The backup phase, we can actually zoom into that. Let me get rid of this diagram here. Oops, what did I erase? Let's get rid of the if you guys are looking for these diagrams, by the way, I do have a bunch of them in the free Discord. So if you go into the free Discord, go to diagrams, you can find all of the Wyckoff accumulation schematics, all of the Wyckoff distribution schematics, some of the acronyms that we use. All of that stuff is here in the free Discord link below. Oh, looks like I have some old. I'm gonna have to figure out what those are. I'll have to replace those. But anyways, if you're looking for that kind of stuff, just go ahead and take a look there. So let's break down the backup phase. The backup phase is kind of its own little Wyckoff structure in and of itself. So you can really break this down on a smaller time frame. So we're going to go down to the 4 hour. And let's click on auto. And I look at this as reaccumulation after decline. So, as you're beginning to study these accumulation schematics, as you're beginning to study these patterns and this price behavior, you can go into the Discord or just Google it. All of these different patterns. We have reaccumulations right here. Where are the reaccumulations? Right here. And it's looking like reaccumulation after decline. So you have a rally into a lower accumulation range and then a breakout. So here we have a rally into a lower accumulation range and a breakout. And for those kind of more traditional pattern traders, you're also noticing a little bit of a bump and run. So a bump and run is where you have a high, you have a lower high, you have a resistance point, you capitulate away from it, and then you break through it. So the best point would have been to buy this breakout, but I was still not prepared for bullish price action in altcoins at that point, because Bitcoin was still postured quite bearishly, and we'll go over Bitcoin in just a moment. But yeah, it wasn't looking great on the Bitcoin side, so I was kind of just giving the altcoin space a little bit more breathing room, even though I was noticing that Litecoin was looking decent. But we did break back above the support/resistance flip that was formed back here at the distribution. You can see the support area, support, break above support, got on top of support, tested support, and rallied very aggressively off. So that's positive. That's really, really positive. And I think if we can get a break, I think kind of the final nail in the coffin for this to really take off is going to be, I have let's just call it upper test, is right around 85 bucks. So if we can get a clean break, a daily close, something above $85 on a daily close, I think that this could really accelerate, given its sole technical chart. Now, do I think that we're out of a bear market? No, I don't. I think that there's a possibility for a bear market rally, and this could be kind of the fodder, or this could be the confidence that could come back into the space. Maybe Litecoin leads a little bit of a FOMO, event in the bear market. I do think that 2023, from a whole, I think 2023 is still going to be bear market. We're going to see movements throughout 2023, but I don't think we're going to be going into a bull market like we saw in 2019, 2020, and 2021. So, we need to, quell our expectations and understand that these bear market rallies do pop up. And I think that we could be seeing the beginning signs of a bear market rally. It doesn't mean that you can't make money in a bear market rally. It's just, I don't know why I have that arrow there. It's just for the breakout. It's just, something to, don't expect 100x is basically the long and short of it. Maybe we do 100%, maybe we do 150%, maybe we even do 300% in Litecoin, but that's it. That's where it stops. You're not going to see 1,000% move in Litecoin in the context of a bear market. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin has been in this falling wedge formation. This is on the 3-day chart. We are getting on top of the 7 EMA for the alphanumerics indicator, which is showing a shift in momentum. The one thing is there's no volume to follow up on that momentum. You need momentum and volume to really confirm a move. So I do expect to encounter some resistance at the upper end of this falling wedge. If we get a break of that resistance, then we can absolutely begin to think that this has a little bit of momentum. If we can get above that, consolidate, and break out, that's going to be a very positive sign. But until then, this is going to act as resistance. So we do need to break past that resistance before you can get too excited. And that's going to be the area to watch too for anybody who is going to be taking the Litecoin trade. Wherever Litecoin ends up, let's say it ends up at the resistance at $100, which it does have some pretty serious resistance at $100. If we go back to the weekly chart, let's get rid of some of this garbage. You can see that $100 back here. There's a lot of resistance here at $100. So let's say Litecoin rallies up to 100. And then that correlates with Bitcoin being at the top of its resistance. If Bitcoin can't break out of the falling wedge, then Litecoin's not going to break out either. So watch that $100 mark, which is, not a huge trade. That's like a 25% move. Come on. Yeah, it's about a 25% move up to $100 from where we are right now. So do pay close attention to those big evens, those big psychological numbers. Those are going to be the areas of interest for a lot of retail and traders alike. All right, so let's take a look at kind of the forecast for the bear market, just to kind of put things into perspective from a macro point of view. This is the reason that I think we're not going to have a 2023 that's going to be a bull market. If we just take a look at the previous cycle's time duration here, we've still got basically until 2025, March of 2025, until we start to really, at least from a time perspective, begin to break out and enter a phase like this. Now, again, it doesn't mean that you can't make money. Here from the bottom of Bitcoin to the top of the range was about nearly a 400% move. So things move. They move in the bear market. They just don't go into those mania phases. They don't go into those hyperbolic phases. They just rally, hit a point of resistance, let's say around anywhere from 100 to 200 to 300, 400%. And then they react back down and they give it all back to the market. You can see right here when we had the COVID shakeout, it gave it all back. It gave the whole market gains back. And then we had the real bull market. We had the real rally after that. So quell expectations, understand that, we are in a developing market. We are in a developing cyclical market. Every cycle previous to what we've seen has been a longer cycle. So if this is to be the same amount of bear market, we're looking at 2025. And if it's going to be increasing in duration, like the bear markets have been and the bull markets have been, everything has been lengthening in cycle, then we could be into 2026 before we see a break of the overall macro trend. So just a reminder that, bear markets do take time. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to give you the information that you need to equip yourself with so that you can truly thrive in this market. But so just a reminder of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other alts. If you guys are wanting to trade this stuff, it was FTX, but FTX was not a good one. I know the people at BitGet, and I think I'm going to start endorsing BitGet. Obviously, you don't need to hold your assets on an exchange. You can get into the habit of going to the exchange to make the trade, then removing the asset back onto a hardware wallet. If you guys are interested in using BitGet, which is honestly, I'm shocked at how many assets they have on BitGet. Links below. Go ahead and check out BitGet. Depending on if you're a whale or not, you can get up to over $4,000 in sign-up bonuses if you deposit a large amount of Bitcoin. But they got everything. They got literally everything. They've got more coins than KuCoin, which I didn't think was possible. KuCoin is the king of the shit coins, although I guess Gate.io is kind of the shitcoin king these days. Anyways, let's take a look at Ethereum on the Bitcoin pair. Actually seeing some nice movement here. Let's turn off alphanumerics. Still range bound though, so pick your poison. Do you want to hold Bitcoin or do you want to hold Ethereum? It doesn't really matter. They're both kind of lock and step. But we are seeing that Ethereum is moving to the upside, outperforming Bitcoin mildly on this area. And it is in the context of a little bit of a breakout here on the weekly chart. So that is positive. Let's actually go back here. So a little bit of resistance up above. If we can break past that, then we'll probably encounter a large amount of resistance here at 0.08 BTC per ETH, but still pretty good. Taking a look at it on the fiat chart, on the dollar chart, same position that Bitcoin is in. We have a lot of overhead resistance. We got to break above that. I expect to encounter some resistance right around $1,400. If we can get above that, hey, that's a breakout. Breakout means continuation, and you don't get too bearish on a breakout after an accumulation. I'd be looking at around $2,500 for the first major resistance point here on Ethereum. Litecoin we covered. Let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano coming above some resistance here. Let's go to the 3-day chart. Still not quite above, but it's nice that it is threatening a resistance break here. That's a positive sign here for Cardano. Cardano had about a 19% 3-day candle here, nearly a 20% 3-day candle. So, but currently up against resistance. If we can get above that resistance, it could be good. Cardano, I think, is going to be a good player for the next bull run. I think that, since Ethereum is at proof of stake, fundamentally speaking, from a coin issuance point of view, Cardano and Ethereum are equal to me. I used to like Ethereum a lot more because it was proof of work. Now that they are proof of stake, it is basically the same as Cardano, although I actually like the privacy features that Cardano offers over Ethereum. So, from a privacy point of view, Cardano could actually be a competitor to Ethereum. Whether or not retail actually cares about privacy and really cares about security is an entirely different topic. But in my opinion, from a protocol point of view, Cardano is safer, more secure, and more private. It just needs adoption. Obviously, Ethereum is the market winner in terms of adoption. So we'll have to see what happens in the next cycle here. Taking a look at the dollar, looking really good, wanting to head down. Huge bearish candle here. Big sell demand, sell tail, supply tail on the end of this candle here on the 3-day chart. If we break below that, we're definitely going to continue to the downside here. So ever since, I mentioned here on the channel multiple times, we were waiting for the break of the trend, We got it. And now we're in a downtrend. So this is what you want to see for the dollar. Dollar is correlated with the performance of gold. Gold is on a rally, looking pretty good with gold. It's kind of a distributional structure, if I'm being honest. So we'll have to see. It needs to overtake $2,000. If it can break out at $2,000, then it's going to eliminate a lot of the bearishness that I'm looking at right here. But I don't like this structure overall. It looks like distribution to me. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Taking a look at the S&P 500, still in this broadening wedge formation. We came up against resistance. We're getting rejection from that resistance. Widening, broadening wedge, though, is actually a bullish formation. So if we can break out of this structure, we could actually see a rally. So it's kind of interesting to see, not a lot of bullish narratives out there, not a lot of things that people are thinking, are positive in the world right now. But we have a few technical indicators that beg to differ. So again, I don't think it means full-on bull market, but it definitely means possibility. Inverse head and shoulders inside of the broadening wedge, another positive sign hinting to a breakout as it would come up to the neckline here and maybe even come up past the all-time high of the S&P. If we did see the S&P at an all-time high and a break of the all-time high, then we could definitely start to entertain some more bullish narratives around the equities market and cryptocurrency as well. The NASDAQ, not as bullish as a chart. Sentiment is still really low. So these high-risk tech assets are obviously going to underperform some of the more safer investments. So it is what it is there. Until we can see a better performance in the S&P, we're not going to see things get too nice looking here on the NDX. So that is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. If you do want to sign up for BitGet, it's a great way to help support the channel. Links below for BitGet exchange and get up to $4,000 in referral bonuses. If you want to share this with anybody that you think is going to find value from that, we're kind of a no hype channel. We look at this from a very objective point of view so that you can stay level-headed in this market. We're not always going to say what you want to hear, but we're going to tell you what you need to hear. So yeah, that's all the time. Please trade safe. We will see you all in the next one. Bye.